right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Battlefield Project podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Rhoda. Today, I'm joined by my friend, Eric Rogers. I'll introduce him in a minute. But first, the point of the Battlefield Project podcast is to inspire people first and foremost. And it's for anybody who understands that life is a battle and only the strong will thrive. So we are not about survival mode here. We are all about helping other people thrive in life and inspiring them to thrive. The way we do that is I'm inviting guests on to here who have experienced some kind of battle, challenge, obstacle in their life or multiple, and then what they did to overcome them. I believe too many people think that happy, successful people had the red carpet laid out for them and wake up every day and everything's butterflies and rainbows and it must be nice mentality. And I'm here basically to share guest stories to let everybody out there know that that's not the case. The difference between successful, happy people and unsuccessful, unhappy people is simply what they do when they are confronted with those challenges and battles on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. The winners overcome those challenges and battles. The losers become victims, and then allow that to just basically dictate their lives. So my goal is to inspire everyone listening. I appreciate anyone that's tuning in here. I know Eric is going to share a lot of value today. I'm going to read his bio in just a split second here, but I've only been friends with him for a little while here, so I don't know the full story. So I'm excited to hear all this, but based on just what I read in his bio, he's got a lot of value to share by showing everyone out there that you can be through it all and you can still come out on top. And I'm sure he's going to get knocked down again, just like we all do, but I can promise you he's going to stay on top. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce here Eric Rogers. He's been one of the greatest transformations this world has ever seen. And if you've seen any of his Facebook posts with his shirt off, that is not a lie. And who knows what's going on the inside, but the outside, he can definitely vouch for that. And he says here, not just physical, but mental, emotional, and spiritual. At the age of 27, he founded and became a performance coach. He is a born leader, influencer, and entrepreneur. Bodybuilding is one of his passions, but there's so much more than that. He's a husband, father, God-fearing man, and he takes his freedom seriously. I'm right there with you, brother. He has overcome massive adversities in his life and has built a life from the absolute bottom, including homelessness, incarceration, extreme addiction, abuse, trauma, and suicide attempts. Eric is a survivor, and now he lives to tell his story and mentor others. He's been featured on multiple high-profile podcasts and is becoming well-known in the self-development and mental health realms. His goal, which I absolutely love and I'm aligned with it perfectly, is to spread a powerful message that you are what you strive to be if you put in the work. There is nobody more influential in your life besides yourself. Your attitude and mentality determine your character. Your character determines your success, and the warrior mentality is one that cannot be broken, and discipline is the only thing keeping you from reaching your full potential. His main focus is growth, which should be everybody's main focus, and he shows the world how effective his methods are by practicing what he preaches. Again, living in alignment and integrity. I support that wholeheartedly. He lives to serve his community and spreads a valuable message to the world. Eric, man, thanks for being here. I'm excited to hear more about that bio, kind of get some details of it. So the floor is yours, my friend. Let's hear some of those obstacles and then how you overcame them and how you got to where you are today, my friend.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. Just met you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
you've been great.
Sure, already.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. We both have been on other people's podcasts, the same podcast. So kind of this was meant to be, right?
Full circle.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm addicted to growth. That's something about me. If I'm not growing, I tend to feel a little bit worthless sometimes, but that's something that we kind of all deal with. But I believe in massive growth, quick growth, and the only way to do that is with discipline. It's being extremely consistent. And I wasn't always disciplined. Actually, I was the opposite of it. I grew up in a very small town. Had good parents, but at 7 years old, I experienced some trauma that would forever change the course of my life. It was an unfair hand that was dealt to me. I'm sure that a lot of us have these types of stories. I know a lot of people have gone through what I've been through, but at 7 years old, I was sexually molested by my Sunday school teacher, which you could just imagine what that would do to a kid, and I kept my mouth shut up until actually the beginning of this year about it. And part of the reason why I kept my mouth shut about it was because a week later, knowing that I had to keep going back to that Sunday school every single Sunday, I decided the next week I was going to try to kill her. And so I poured bleach in her coffee and she drank it and she almost died. And so I kept shut because I thought I was going to get in trouble for that. And you know, what happened was my behavior started to change pretty rapidly, intensely. And I started, had no trust for authority, number one, which included my father and my mother, and my behavior just at home. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know the story. And so I was dealt with accordingly, right? Dad was a prison guard for 30 years, Folsom Prison. He's a great guy now. I have a good relationship with him. He, you know, I believe people can change, obviously, right?
Yep.
And so I love him. And I thank him for all the hard times and all the good times that, you know, I say, you know, fuck you, but thank you, you know?
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
and that's the forgiveness that has to happen in order to heal and grow. But, you know, I was raised extremely disciplined in my household. You know, my dad was very aggressive. He had a lot of flaws. You know, there was abuse, physical, emotional, and, you know, my brother and sister were kind of like, if you were to ask them how was your childhood, they'd say it was the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But my perception was way flawed because of what had happened to me and how I was treated because of my behavior after that. And it turned into like a everybody kind of cornering me kind of thing. I was bullied at home. You know, I was beaten. You know, I was abused physically, emotionally, and it just drove me deeper and deeper into this darkness. And so at the age of 8 years old, I started doing drugs at 8. I found my mom's prescriptions, and I remember just taking one. I thought it was ibuprofen. You know, I remember it said pain or something. And so I took it, and it made me feel really fucking good. And it was like the first time in a year that I felt normal. I was able to relax. I was able to be funny. I was able to like be my true self, which was a trip. And so I fell in love with that. And I chased that feeling for 16 years up until I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, it started with that, and I just get my hands on whatever I could. I was drinking whole bottles of Robitussin. I was taking 5-6 pills of Benadryl, just whatever I could get my hands on to kind of numb that pain and make me semi like normal and not feeling that pain. And so that kind of drove me into harder and harder drugs. At the age of 16, I got caught doing cocaine. You know, my dad's a cop, so 17, you know, he found it in my backpack. He said, get the fuck out of my house. I wasn't offered help. I didn't really have any support. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my family disowned me at that point. So 17 on the streets, I had a job at Round Table. I did have a car. That's it. Right. And the first night I stayed at a friend's house, semi-friend. And I told him what happened. He's like, you want to do a bump? Right. And so I was like, yeah, sure. Right. Like, might as well, you know, there's nothing to lose now. So I took a bump, and it turned out to be methamphetamine. I didn't know it. Oh. And I fell in love with that shit. I fell in love with it. And I became an extreme meth addict. In the next year and a half, I was doing it so much that I wasn't like eating or sleeping for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I had drug-induced psychosis. I had signs of schizophrenia. I was seeing things. I was not in reality. Yeah. I was that dude on the side of the road yelling at fucking cars, bro. I was that guy. Yeah. You know, I remember picking white rocks out of the asphalt and trying to smoke it. You know, even though I had shit in my pocket, like just some crazy shit. And I had no hope. There was no way out. And I started getting into gang affiliation. So I started meeting a lot of bad people, hanging out with a lot of bad people. It turned out to I started to distribute for the Aryan Brotherhood methamphetamine. It kept me high. It put a little money in my pocket, and then now I had a family that I never really felt I had. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're not good people, but that put me in positions where, you know, I saw some shit, bro. I saw a lot of darkness. I saw a lot of evil shit. I mean, I even had a lady offer me her like 3-year-old daughter for a bag. Yeah. And she was like, you could do whatever you want with her. And I shut the fucking door because I was delivering. I wasn't affiliated with them in a way where I was stuck because you got to kill to go into the Aryan Brotherhood. I wasn't that far, but I was just making them money. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I've seen a lot of shit. So I've just experienced trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. And then I was 18 years old, and I got booked into Sac County Jail for possession of controlled substance, like a lot of it. I had a bunch of fucking money. Like it was distribution. They got me on like over an ounce of marijuana, and I was looking at 10 years. You know, if I got found guilty, or I try to take it to trial. And so I went to trial. I won my trial, and then I decided to get the fuck out of Sacramento.
Mhm.
I cleaned my shit up, and I met my wife, but I never really healed from anything. So I got clean. I met my wife. We had a kid. And when my son was a year old, I was getting deep into alcohol. I was getting deep into pills, still running from that pain. And I literally just thought I was a fucked up person. Like the things that I've seen, the things that I've done, I always like deep, I always hid that shit.
Mhm.
And it was like, I was like, no one's ever going to understand, you know, like a lot of PTSD, a lot of struggles in my life, a lot of self-doubt from everything that happened. And you know, it drove me to a point where I was drinking like a bottle a day. I was taking as many pills as I could. And I woke up one day to my wife with her bags packed, with my son in the car, and she said, "We're leaving the state. We never want to see you again. You're no longer allowed to be in our life." And she was gone. She was fucking gone. My whole family was gone. Everything again gone.
Yeah.
Like that's the third time in my life that's happened. And you know, I drank myself into oblivion for 4 months. I went even harder on the drugs. I started picking up the hard shit. And you know, 4 months later, dude, I'm sitting on my bed and I'm like, I'm like, this is it. Like, I no one's here for me. Total victim, right? No one's here for me. No one loves me. You know, life sucks, blah, blah, blah. I put a Glock 23 in my mouth and I was fucking sobbing, snot running out of my nose, tears. I didn't even know. I had no one to call. I had no fucking one to call. I had nobody.
Mm.
And so I was gonna pull the fucking trigger, dude. And something happened that at that moment. I envisioned my wife being fucked by another man and my son calling another man dad. And it like stirred up this jealousy in my heart. And it was enough to pull out the gun out of my mouth. I told myself that I'm gonna be that motherfucker. I'm gonna be that guy. Like I didn't want that to happen. Like, and so the next day I quit doing drugs. I quit drinking cold fucking turkey. You know, over time, I started picking up good habits. I started going to the gym every time I craved. I was doing burpees, push-ups whenever I craved. I was waking up at 2:50 in the morning every single day. I was, you know, reading the Bible, all these habits, right? I had a morning routine and a daily structure. And within 6 months, I completely changed my life. I called my wife. I told her who the fuck I was. I told her what I've been doing, and she wanted me back. So in 6 months, I was that person I envisioned. And I took that exact process and I applied it to the next step, which has got me here, where I'm actually a business owner. I'm a performance coach where I take this 4-step process that I used and I implement it into multiple, like over 300 entrepreneurs' lives. You know, it doesn't matter where they're at in their business or their life. Discipline is a universal language. And that process is taking people, you know, I've made millionaires, multimillionaires. I've helped like rebuild broken marriages. I've helped weak men become stronger. Like I've done a lot of cool shit. And it's the 4-step process is simple. It's having a vision, knowing who you want to be, right? It's reverse engineering that into daily habits and consistently repeating those habits every single day. It's aligning your mindset with the man in the vision, and then having some type of accountability to keep you on track. If you have that and you implement that, like you will get anywhere. It doesn't matter how big of a goal, how small of a goal, where you're at in life. That 4-step process is fucking bulletproof. So that's kind of the story of
Shit,
who I am,
man.
why I am who I am.
Two things that I want to like touch on. One, you're sitting there wherever you're sitting with a gun in your mouth, and the vision that came to you that snapped you out of it enough to not do that is it's an interesting thing to hear you say, and it's an interesting vision to have, because some people I think like are under the impression that to change your life it has to be some like super positive feeling. It's got to be some magical God moment of like, and I heard a
Right.
voice and it touched like, and that happens too. I'm not like downplaying that or degrading that or saying that that's smaller than this, but like you have like a pissed off moment, like, and that it's interesting and powerful to hear, man, that like an emotion like that was able to change your life. Because usually the stories you hear, what I just mentioned, it's like I was on the bed, I was about to pull a trigger, but I imagined never like holding my kid, or I imagined like all the other stuff. And yours was just like, no, fuck that. Like there's not gonna be another dude that comes into this universe, in this world, and takes my role that I own. If I want it, it's mine. And I'm gonna check out, and some other dude's just gonna swoop in and get to play that part. Not happening. Like that's cool. Like I don't want to say it's cool, but like that's a cool thing to hear, man, because it just shows like you can use whatever emotion you need to use to change your life. And if it's a pissed off, resentful, what, like angry, if that's what it takes to like flick a switch and to go in a different direction, fucking use that as the fuel to your fire and burn that fire as big as you get. Like that's
absolutely, bro,
phenomenal insight to share with people.
I think that like that's something that I try to teach people, is to reach down inside of them and find an aggressive approach at life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, bro, I try to be consistent at things when it was just like, I want to get better, or I want to build some muscle, or I want to, I want to make 100K this year, whatever your goal is. Like that wasn't enough to fuel me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it never was. I found like God put them in my life for a reason. And my family, like I didn't give a fuck when they let me out. I didn't give a fuck about anyone, bro. They were never really there for me anyways. But my wife was always loyal. She was always like the strong one. She was always like helping me and encouraging me and supporting me. And like then my beautiful 1-year-old son, like it's just completely innocent.
Yeah.
Like I realized like they were the trigger that made me realize that this was my fucking fault.
Yeah.
And it hit me all right there. I was like, through jealousy, through like like responsibility, and anger. And I was like, no, dude, I'm gonna be that motherfucker. So I've been like competing against myself this whole time.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now I can kind of hit more positive goals. Like consistency and discipline is in my identity now. I've been doing it for so long, bro.
Yeah.
So that now my goals can be positive. Like that 6 months, bro, I wasn't a positive guy. I was like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna do this. Like, I don't give a fuck, Eric. I'm going to do this. Like, if you saw me walking down the street, people would be like, this guy's fucking serious. Like, stay away from this guy.
Don't bump shoulders. Yeah, don't bump him.
Yeah. Don't ask me to drink. Don't ask me. Like, I will fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, I was in it to win it, bro. Like a bull, And so now that I've kind of created that identity of discipline, now I can be very positive and focus on, the positive growth, and instead of being like, I mean, that's just how you got to be at rock bottom, bro, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people won't change till they get there. That's a sad fucking truth.
Yeah. And now, like you just said, man, you're harnessing energy, positive energy, which I mean, who knows? Maybe you aren't, like, maybe that's not the case and you're a different person and you're harnessing that like raw, pissed off energy for the rest of your life. You could still accomplish a lot in your life probably, and you could still probably change lives, but the impact that you can make by harnessing, like shifting the energy frequency to a positive energy and then using that to change lives, I think you're going to instill that energy into people and develop more leaders with positive energy, to develop more leaders with positive energy. And it's that ripple effect that we're going for. The second thing, man, that, like, about your story that I hear you share it and I'm like, fuck, man, he's lucky, is, you put in 6 months of work, which, kudos to you, but and then you reach out to your wife, like she could have been like, no, fuck you, I don't believe you. Like, or like, no,
100%.
Like call me in 2 years, like do that for 2 years and prove to me that you're worthy of my time and our son again, and that I can actually believe in you and buy into what you're telling me. Because I feel like that's the case. Like, I know, there's relationships that fall apart for less serious stuff than what you're talking about. And a wife will never take a husband back. A wife will make a husband jump through hoops for 5 years before she even considers taking him back, with the intent never to really take him back. So, I mean, like, and this, but like, how blessed are you that like 6 months in the grand scheme of things is a blip on the radar, that you were able to like change your life, do the necessary work. So again, like, more power to you, but that God, universe, whatever, was gracious enough to put a woman in your life that believed in you enough, that was like, okay, I hear it in his, whatever the reason was, I hear it in his voice, I can sense his energy or whatever. but like instantaneously was like, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Like, and now, and I'm sure, and I get, I don't know you for long, but like, I can guarantee like you do the work on a daily basis now to make sure that that doesn't
Absolutely.
happen again. But the fact that
Mhm.
she bought into that vision after 6 months is like a huge testament to her. It's a huge testament to you, and it's a huge testament to your relationship collectively, because I don't think that's the normal situation to watch unfold with stuff like
I
this.
don't think it is either. I don't think the work I put in is a normal situation either. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people. A lot of people are like, "How did you do it?" And it's like, bro, I didn't skip a fucking beat. I was eating
Yeah.
7 meals a day. If I didn't eat one of my meals, I knew something was wrong. I was either stressed out, anxious, or I was on drugs or drinking. So
Yeah.
I use like food as a way of accountability. Like use my stomach as accountability. If you can control what you eat,
Yep.
you can control everything, bro. I
Everything. Yep.
swear.
Yep.
I swear it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Try to diet for fucking 6 months straight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I put on 95 pounds of muscle in the last 4.5 years since that day. And like for me, it's like I'm very extreme person. I'm very blessed, of course, because of that situation, but I'm also blessed because the one thing that I got out of my father was discipline.
Yeah.
My dad is the most disciplined man I've ever met. Like I had out of everything, I didn't have fucking love. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have like support. I didn't have that stuff, but I had an example of discipline, and I was told how to work hard, how to present myself, like how to go all in. I had that example. So that was key as well. But I can tell people that, I'm trying, but my wife isn't going to take me back. It's like, are you really fucking giving everything you got?
Yeah.
Like we all have a next fucking level, bro. We all have a next level that a lot of us aren't willing to see. Now, the reason why I'm stuck at the next level is because I hadn't grown my whole life. I had no growth. It was constant survival mode.
Hmm.
And it was just like, how do I get through the day? How do I get through the day? And it was depression, suicidal attempts, all this shit. And when I needed that. And when I finally was like, all right, I'm going to go all in on the opposite direction. It was the first time in my life that I was like, I felt growth. I saw growth in myself. And I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking gifted, bro. Like I was like putting on fucking 10 pounds of muscle like a month. I
Yeah.
hadn't eaten for 16 years earlier. So
Yeah. Your body was like,
like,
give it to me. Yeah.
bro, and I was just like, holy shit, if I can do this, like if I could do this for a month, I could do this forever. And
Yeah.
so I've been just stuck on that. Like once you see a result in the work that you put in, the belief comes. You know what I mean? Like motivation comes after the work, and so does belief. You can't wait for motivation to get the fuck up and
Yep.
go to the gym. Like motivation comes after the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so does belief. Like you don't worry about believing in yourself before you start your journey. Like it comes if you're consistent,
And
and it
start to get the
comes
results.
exactly, exactly. And so, I mean, I'm all about results and growth and doing things at 100 fucking miles an hour, giving 100% of what you got. Otherwise, to me, it's not
What's the
living.
point?
Now, I also, yeah, and a lot of people would like look at my life, bro, and be like, discipline is boring. Like, what kind of life is that? Like, here's the thing: is that I have four priorities in life. Number one is God. Number two is my health. Number three is my family. Number four is my business. I'm equally obsessed with all four of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I eat 7 fucking meals a day and go to the gym for 3 hours a day. I work 10 to 12 hours of my business every day. I read the Bible every single day, and I spend time with my wife and kid every single day, and I'm very present at those things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, growth is fun. Like the delayed gratification is the best feeling, bro. And now once you're like a year into being consistent, you're just getting rewarded all the fucking time. You're
Yep.
waking up like, I'm gonna win today, bro, because of the
Yep.
work I did a year ago.
Yep.
Like,
Compound
it's
effect,
huge.
compound interest. It's not just a money thing. It's like a personal development
Absolutely.
thing. It's relationships you're building. It's the work you put on your
Yeah.
business that takes a little bit more time than you want it to take. But you keep doing those little things, and bam, all of a sudden that big win happens. You're like, I couldn't predict
Yeah.
when it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen because I continued to lay brick by brick by brick and build the foundation.
Yeah.
And now the foundation's strong enough that my house is showing up for me. So yeah, man.
100%, bro. It's
Yeah.
reverse engineering the vision.
Yeah.
If you can just repeat the steps, every day, you're going to get there. Then you start to have certainty.
Yeah.
Like I'm certain where the fuck I'm going. Unless I die, I know where
Yeah.
I'm going. I already know.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
And
so
yeah, dude, I
that's
think,
fun.
yeah, that's what, yeah, when you said like, 'cause I hear that too, like boring life. You kind of eat the same things and the same times and work out. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like I would hate to wake up and not know what my day looked like or felt like, you know what I mean? Like, and just kind of wing it day by day. I would go nuts. Like, cause to me, then I can't predict the result. And again, I don't know when that result will come, but I can predict my actions on a daily basis and I can stay disciplined to those actions on a daily basis and know that that result is coming to me because I'm doing these things on a daily basis. I don't, and for me, I want to be way more financially ahead than I am right now. That's my one thing in life that I'm like, man, if I could wave my magic wand, I would have way more money in savings. I'd have bigger retirement funds. I'd have real estate investment. Like I would just be in a different finance. And I'm like, that agitates me a little bit on a daily basis on a cosmic level. Not really, but kind of. But I'm like, I don't care. Like when I'm present and when I'm grounded, which I work on a daily basis to stay, I'm like, take a deep breath and fucking relax, Matt. Like you are literally doing everything on a daily basis that you need to do. You're the right kind of person. You've got the right intentions. You're doing the work. It's yours. And I just don't get to predict it by the time I'm 40. It should have happened. No, like the universe might be like, you're going to be 52 when it happens. And like, okay, I'm cool with that. I'll do this for the next 12 years, knowing that at some point it's coming and I'm protected and taken care of. There's such a freedom to that I don't think people understand because they're married to the result. And if they don't get the result when they think they deserve it, then they think something's broken. And if something's broken, I got to change it. And if they're constantly changing it, they're never going in the single path. And then all of a sudden they're distracted and all over the place. That sounds like hell on earth to me. Like the discipline to and have the faith to just do, knowing that it's going to come at some point. It's freedom, it's happiness, it's fun. And I think like with your 4 steps, I think it takes a lot of work to get to that point. I don't think it's just something you get to wake up one day and be like, this is what I want to have happen. Okay, it's going to happen. Like, no, like you're going to struggle. You're going to get kicked in the teeth. You're going to like be tempted by a whole bunch of things. That's part of the process. And if you accept that, deal with it, cool. But if you don't, you fight it. Like I don't envy you. Like you're going to have a rough road ahead of you.
It's tough, bro. Like the process is so important because like you got to learn how to be a king before you can be a king. And you got to learn how to withhold the throne before you sit on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone that is king for a day, he's only king for a fucking day. Yeah. If you want to be a king for a long time, like you got to be the peasant first and you got to work your way up. But like you said, when you find your worth in the result, when you don't have results, you feel worthless. Right. And I think a lot of us can feel this. I do sometimes too. It's taken a long time to break through that. But if you find your worth in the work and you do the work every day, you're always going to feel like a king.
Yep. That's
you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's it. And it's like, and that's why I like to start the mornings off, right? Because if I do, like I wake up at 4 now and I'm home by 7. I've already done like 10 things. I've eaten 2 meals. I've gone to the gym. I made my bed. I brushed my teeth, all the shit. Yeah. I made a Facebook post or whatever. And by the time I get home, like now I work, but I don't want to like just fuck off now. Like now I want to fucking win, bro. But if you start your day off snoozing, and clicking that snooze button and, you're late for work or whatever, you're stressed out, you're going to fucking snooze and lose all day, bro. That's just how it goes.
That's it, man. That's that discipline routine. I preach it all the time. People are like, how do you get there? I'm like, fucking self-discipline. Like I say this week, I've said to multiple people, every day I'd rather eat a cheeseburger sub. I would eat a cheesesteak or a cheeseburger sub for dinner with chips and like ice cream later on at night every day of the week. If I like could know that I was healthy and I could stay fit and do that, I would do that in a heartbeat because that stuff tastes good to me. Like it's enjoyable and like in the moment. But I know if I do that, I don't live in la la land. I'm going to start throwing a bunch of weight on that I don't want. I'm going to get slow. I'm going to have a broggy, like a brain fog because I'm feeding myself poison. And I'm not going to be happy with myself because I know I'm going backwards instead of forwards. It's really like choice. Like which one do you want more? And I feel like way too many people choose comfort, moment by moment happiness at the expense of getting a real result that they really want because it's that daily work. It's saying no to X, Y, and Z, even though you kind of want X, Y, and Z, knowing that if you say no to that, you can get A and B in the future because that's the direction you're heading. But it's like we keep saying, it's not fucking easy, man. It's a daily
Absolutely, bro. Like
decision.
like whoever's listening, like I'm assuming you want a lot of money one day, or like you want something you already know that's very hard to get it. You know, we're humans, we love challenges, even though we don't want to do the work. But if you want that, think about this: like every time you eat that fucking cheeseburger, you're saying no to the fucking vision.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important to have a why attached to what you're doing, because what you're doing, you'll have more intention with what you're doing if you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like I hate food. I'm never hungry. I haven't been hungry in 4 years, bro. I swear.
Yeah.
7 meals a day. I'm not hungry. I hate food. I don't eat my food for pleasure. I eat it for purpose.
Yeah.
It does things, you know, it's taking me closer to my goal.
Yeah.
You know, whether it is cutting or bulking, it doesn't matter. If I eat fucking cheeseburgers all day, that becomes my new normal. If I eat cheeseburgers all day, I'm going to be doing other things like that too. I'm going to be skipping fucking, I'm going to be skipping meals. I'm going to be skipping workouts. I'm going to be skipping, you know, calling my leads or talking to my clients. I'm going to be skipping it. You want to be the best in the fucking world, and you have to be the most consistent.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd say everything you just describes like the negative compound effect.
Exactly. And I got clients that don't want to be the best in the world, and they just want to do a little bit better. Then make your habits match that. You don't have to fucking eat 7 meals a day. Like I do that because my goal's what it is, right?
Yep.
If you just want to be healthy and you want to, you know, your wife to be proud of you, you want to make some good money and just, you know, your kids are happy, then reverse engineer that.
That's exactly it. Yep. What are the steps needed to make that happen? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I don't give myself, there is no time to do anything that doesn't have anything to do with my vision.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
So like my schedule's full from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. There's nothing in there that's going to pull me off. It's not drinking with the buddies, watch fucking Netflix. Like I'll watch Netflix when it's family time because that's something they enjoy and that brings us together. Then that's what I'm going to do. Like I have literally scheduled my distractions. I'll like scroll on TikTok 30 minutes. I'm not even fucking with you.
Yeah.
I'll be present as fuck. Just
now's my time to do this. Yeah. And
exactly.
Like, on minute 31, I'm putting that shit down. I'm getting the next task done.
Yeah. I schedule my fun. I schedule my love. I'm obsessed with it. I love fun. I love love. It's very important. I'm not David Goggins. Like I'm not preaching the run 20 miles no matter what, or you're a bitch. I don't do that. I think it's very important to have days off. I think it's important to enjoy that cheeseburger sometimes. That I have a drink with the wife like once a month. We go on a date.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, that shit doesn't matter. But I'll tell you this, like that cheeseburger is way better when you don't have it every day.
Every day. That's it, dude. Yeah.
It's so good, bro.
Yeah. And you know it's not coming tomorrow either. You're like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this motherfucker because like it's gonna be another week or two or a month until I enjoy this again. So like every chewing of every bite, you're like, so tasty. This is whereas like every day it's just like you don't even appreciate the taste because it's what you taste all day every day. So
exactly. And when I used to eat cheeseburgers every day, I could barely fucking afford them.
Yeah.
But now like I can enjoy a cheeseburger, have money in the bank. My wife doesn't have to work. She's fucking happy. My son's he's having a life I never ever had. Ever, bro. To see him smile. And he looks like me and I'm like, this is the life, dude. And if I wasn't disciplined, I would not have fucking had that.
Yeah.
I'd be dead right now. I would have pulled the fucking trigger, bro.
Yeah.
That's simple. I see things black and white, and that's just how I operate. That's just how I do things.
Yeah. And I think that's probably how a lot of successful people are, man. It is black and white. Like if you allow yourself to get caught in the gray too often, you just get stuck because it's like, I don't know what to do today. Or I don't know if I want to do that. It's like black and white. Like I want to be successful. I want to be happy in my relationship. I want to be a good dad. I want to be, you know, an athlete and not necessarily play sports, but like I want to be fit and healthy. There's no black and white. Like you either do these things to accomplish that or you do the opposite and then you're not accomplishing that. It's like there's no middle ground when you have a vision and you want to accomplish it.
Yeah, everyone else is on the middle ground.
Yeah.
Like that's you. If you want to be like, look around. If you want to be like everyone else, then just keep doing what you're fucking doing.
Float.
That's fine. Yeah. Like I can't even speak to people like that.
Yeah.
Like I help people that are already kind of in the white area. You know what I mean?
Leaning towards it.
yeah, I don't work with everybody. I work with winners that want to win more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like people that at least want it really fucking bad,
Yeah.
because that's important.
Yeah.
It's hard to get somebody to even set goals. People like 70% of Americans do not set goals
Yeah.
because they're afraid to let themselves down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't
Nuts.
know, it's gonna get through the day. And they don't even know it, but they're in survival mode, you
Constant.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I love this podcast.
Dude. Yeah,
Say it,
man.
thrive mode.
Yeah. I thank you. Like I
Yeah,
incredible story, powerful story, super vulnerable story to share all those details and like put it all out there for people to, and that's what I'm hoping all the guests that jump on here are willing to like pull the mask off and like let the armor down for 30-40 minutes and just
yeah,
share the raw part of human life and connection and the hard parts, because social media is a highlight reel, a lot of podcasts are the highlight reels, and I don't bash it, I'm part of it. I mean, go to my social feed, it's like positive inspiration, shirt off and flexing, and a big deal.
yeah.
Like, so I get that. I'm not bashing it, but this podcast was like, what can I do different? I'm like, I want to just people
Mhm.
to like get on here and talk about the fucking hard times, because everyone has them. But I also
Yeah,
want people who are winning, because that's proof in the pudding that like everyone has hard times, but winners also have hard times, but they win because it's what they do with those hard times, man. So
yeah.
you
Sorry,
sharing the story, dude. No.
Ryan Stewman just came up in my headphone randomly. I
Yeah.
swear I was listening to his podcast and I pressed
Yeah.
play and I was like, whoa, sorry.
Two voices at once.
Fucking Ryan Stewman.
Yeah, right. Yeah, making an
Uh,
appearance. I can't knock
yeah.
that shit. If anyone's
No,
making an
exactly.
appearance, let it be Stewman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah,
how
bro.
can
It's
people
awesome,
find you?
man.
How can people connect with you? I think you got a lot to share with people and you can inspire. So how
Yeah.
can they connect?
So the best way to connect with me right now is I just opened a free Facebook group
Okay.
for entrepreneurs and CEOs only. So if you're an entrepreneur or CEO, it is facebook.com groups. Here, let me just pull it up so I got it, because it's kind of confusing.
And I'll put it in the
Okay.
show links too. I'll link it to people so they can just click on it from YouTube. But
Okay, perfect. And I'll put the link in the chat. Groups. Here we go. All right. It is facebook.com/groups/$1 million mindset.
okay.
So I'm going to put it in the chat for you, bud.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's like that. We got free resources in there. I'm helping a lot of people out. I'm going to be starting a challenge on January 1st, a group challenge. It's going to be something similar to 75 hard and for slow 75 hard,
Yep.
but there's going to be more accountability, and it's going to be based off the performance of an entrepreneur. And so, like, a little bit about what I do. I'm a performance coach. I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I help the entrepreneur. I catapult their dreams into reality. It doesn't matter what you're trying to level up as or where you're trying to go. My goal is to come up with a day-to-day structure that's actually going to get you there, to give you perspectives on your mindset, different, help you with some mind shifts so that you can think differently and actually achieve those goals, and then hold you accountable. So, it's massive. It's more than just, how can I help your life? Like we're talking about getting you to your vision. Like if that's millions of dollars, that's what we're going to do. If it's being a better father, that's what we're going to do. If it's building an awesome sales team, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in the actual program, working one-on-one with me, go to promote.rogersfitnessacademy.com and apply there.
Awesome, man. Well, if you're still watching this or watching this for the first time or replaying it, thank you for being here. If you found value in it, I know you have. If you're still listening, please share the show. Connect with Eric, like you mentioned in those different links. I'll share those in the YouTube chat. Thank you for watching, Eric, man. I deeply appreciate you being here, sharing your story, inspiring other people, lead by example. And we'll see all of you on the battlefield.